It's so good to be here for another unveiling of these wonderful cairns. This is my third time doing this, and I'm honored that they asked an old guy to do it again. I 2 years ago turned into an octogenarian, and if you have trouble with that word, think of Fred Flintstone and Barney Rubble talking, and Fred would use a big word. So let's say he used the word octogenarian. Hey, Barney, I turned into an octogenarian. And then Barney would translate for the kids and adults who didn't understand the big word, and he would have said, not only that, Fred, but you turned 80. So that was 2 years ago, so I just celebrated number 82. And thank you. Celebrated it by starting a new job. I, in June, retired from CTV after 50 years with them here and 60 years across the country. And in June, I was offered a job co-hosting a talk show that runs every Friday night on Yes TV, which is a cable channel out of Toronto, but they have a Calgary studio. So a co-host from Okotoks and I are doing a weekly talk show, something I can cross off my bucket list because it's something I always wanted to do. So, and also for 10 wonderful years at CTV, I did a feature called Inspired Albertans. And there are a few of my former Inspired Albertans here today, including a man who you will hear from in a little while, the guy who started what we're here to celebrate today. And so I'm going to put on the reading glasses and go to script. I've been off script a little too long. So thank you for coming this afternoon for this wonderful occasion. And I just want to say that it's such an honor to be asked to do this. Oh, and by the way, important stuff first, bathrooms. As you can tell, this tent doesn't have any, but you don't have to use a porta potty. Next door is Annie's, and Annie's has washrooms, so you can go there. But I'll bypass the first line, but if you need help, my name is Darrell Jans, and I am now, as I mentioned, co-host and feature producer of Legacy Makers that runs on Yes TV. And in addition, I have the great pleasure of still being offered numerous speaking engagements and hosting wonderful events like this. It's great at my age to not have to retire. I am pleased to welcome you here today to a very special celebration of achievement, dedication, and perseverance by extraordinary Albertans. I'd like to take this opportunity to acknowledge the traditional land that we are on, of the Blackfoot, the people of Treaty 7 region in southern Alberta, which includes the Siksika, the Piikani, the Kainai and Tsuut'ina, and the Stoney Nakoda First Nations. The city, which we now call Calgary, is situated on land where the Bow River and the Elbow River meet. And it is the traditional name of it is, and I can't do this quite as well as Naheed Nenshi could, but Mohkinstsis. That is the... And the city of Calgary is also home to the Métis Nation of Alberta, Region 3. So this is very, very historic land we're on. At this time, I would like to ask Raymond Manybears, Greta Manybears, and Peter Weasel Moccasin, respected elders of the Kainai Nation of the Blackfoot Confederacy, to come and give the blessing. Well done.
I'm just waiting for my wife to come up. For the ladies, I hope you're sitting on the right side of your men, because women are always right. Of course, it's always an honor to be asked to come and do the opening. Before I do this, I was reading the pamphlet of Field of Fame 7. And that 7 is a very, some would say sacred number, but it's very of the number 7. That we always get blessed by the 7 brothers of the Big Dipper that's giving us our blessings today. And it's also Treaty 7, which we're all treaty people. So I'm going to do an opening with our native, with my native tongue, and then I'm going to pass it on to Napi. Anybody know Napi? Come on, Napi, the trickster. No, to Peter, and he'll explain what he's going to do. Okay, so bear with me. Some of you I know that are sitting in the audience that are present today, that are in many sacred societies. In your hearts, help me with our prayers today. Okay. Ai ka ki na tos. Ai ka ki kitskinan sata kan tistikoak. Ke kakskorsakina ni ka kan ki. Hani ka ki motsi moipstaetsaki. Ako kita pa ya na kuanna na ki. Hani tsinits kayaki. Kaskikina nitsaki. Okiste päätä pio paaki. Spummu saaki motsi. Uto tissa vuots mutsi vaistu taatsimme. Sti päätä piopääki. Ai kaikki on stohtaa paikaakin mä tuupannik nuhkoiskutuku. Sti päätä piopääki. Hanni kaikki kaakohkaa paatuu maataja. Hanni kaikki ikätäpä hikais sukakoma uukomanstumuja. Hannik mä naakstui. Haksaak täpsti pinna. Kersaarti tuutaajistiiniskittiistum sinäki taaporpapuka. Haksoi tuutaajistini kaiknustuminnaani kaikisti päätä piopääki. Ai kaikki tahmanstortaa paikak matu pinnaan. Amo kaikki minipukavaaki. Noha tuautsipennaan okina. Nitstinnaani kaikki. Anni kaikki nohkattaa tiitska tännaanaaki kanakkaatsi itsaaki. Sti päätä piopääki. Itski näits muutukiit, kakkuits, kanatsu mitäätsääki, okinnitsi kaikki umu pistäätsi näemskaaki. Okisti päätä piopääki, aikis pumu saamutsi kaikki napi koetsääki. Hakutit utsta piitsimia. Anni kaikki te muutsi, tiituu mitä päätä piitspinnaan, anni kaikki sitkaarsinnaan itsääki nuhtuutkanitsispinnaan kaikki. Sti päätä piopääki. Kennikaki spumus muutsenika puutsimitsaki. Kaatsi ojus sitsaki. Sti päätä piopaki. Kerki kikkama ikkam stuaki kennikaki nuhkatteetsina puutsi pinnaani. Hituh naats pinnaani. Annikaki na pios niin stvatsamaan kamata. Take your right hands, put it across your hearts, and go, hey. That's your taking the prayers into your heart. Okay, I'm going to pass it to Peter. Not yet there.
Not yet.
You got to put me in your top
These songs that we sing, sacred songs, as we say, they all mean there is nothing impossible for us that what lies ahead. That's what they mean. Thank you.
Don't sit down yet. We have, I'll get up here. It's a little harder at 82 than it was at 22. Thank you. Thank you.
Hey, were you the guy that
I
the
am.
mayor's luncheon from that
Yeah.
Zoom meeting was?
That's right.
Fun like that.
All right, we have a presentation that Pat Christie is making to the three of you. Thank you so much for coming and blessing us with your presence today and with your opening blessing. And so, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. All right. And now, it is time to stand as Corinda Chandler comes to sing O Canada for us.
O Canada, our home and native land, true patriot love, in all of us command, catambrase potele peio, eu sei potele qua, ton histoire est une épopée des plus brillants exploits. God keep our land glorious and free. Oh, Canada, we stand on guard for thee. Oh, Canada, we stand on guard for thee.
Sir.
Thank you so much. You know, as a beautiful soprano voice, but for a guy like me who goes down low, it's kind of hard to sing when someone with that beautiful soprano voice does the national anthem. So thank you again for gracing us with that voice. And now we are pleased to have in attendance some very special guests. As soon as I pick up my script, I will introduce them to you. And please hold your applause until we get through them, and then let it loose. First of all, the Honorable Lois E. Mitchell, CM, AOE, LLD, 18th Lieutenant Governor of Alberta and President of the Royal Canadian Geographical Society. Mr. Shane Schreiber, Assistant Deputy Minister of Forestry and Parks. Mr. Michael Rycroft, Regional Director, Kananaskis Region, Alberta Parks. Members of this year's Champions families, including the Anderson family, the Blood family, the Green family, the Maw family, the Maurer family, the Prince family, and the Yaki family. How about applause for these? And we are honored to have in attendance members of Alberta Champions Board of Directors and Advisory Board, including Ian Bettis, Dr. Rick Buckley, Fuad El-Kardi, Brian Evans, Gordon Hoffman, Megan Lundgren, the Honorable Lois E. Mitchell, Gordon Olson, Dr. Norman Shacker, and Rani Wong. How about a hand for these? Thank you for being here. And just to give you an idea of how our time together will roll out today, we will have a brief program and then go outside to unveil the monuments of Alberta Champions' 7th Field of Fame. There are 6 of these scattered around various parts of the city, and I'm surprised that I still run into some people who have not taken note of them, but they are in various places, and I won't go into detail of all of them. But it's great to be unveiling this set here, and that will be followed by our reception back here at the Meadow Muse. Now, Alberta Champion Board of Directors and families look forward to having the opportunity to meet and socialize with everyone in attendance. Alberta Champion Society, in recognition of community enrichment, was created to recognize and honor individuals who, during their lives, through their vision, their talent, and their accomplishments, help make our city and province what they are today. It was achieved by placing sets of stainless steel monuments arranged in fields of fame. To date, Alberta Champions has created 6 fields, which are located strategically around the city. In our 7th Field of Fame, here at Fish Creek Park today, we'll be recognizing the significant contributions of Vernetta Anderson, Blackfoot Elder Narcissus Blood, Michael Green, Roderick Maw, Chuck Maurer, Peter Prince, and Gus Yackey. This is the nicest podium I've ever spoken from. I kind of mean that sincerely. I wonder what was in it back in its useful days, and wish there were some now, but no. The Alberta Champions Society would not be in existence but for our next speaker. If he had not followed his dreams and convictions, we wouldn't be here. It's my pleasure now to introduce the founder and chairman of Alberta Champions Society in recognition of community enrichment, Mr. Gordon Hoffman. Gord is a partner in Hoffman Dorchuk LLP during the day, but in his spare time, he and his wife Eva are involved in many ways in making our city and our province a better place to live. Over the years, Gordon has participated in and supported over 100 volunteer initiatives in our city and province, and he has received a number of awards related to his community involvement, including being named Calgary's Citizen of the Year in 2015. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome Gordon Hoffman.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Do we need this, you think, or can I talk loud? Good afternoon, everyone. On behalf of Alberta Champions Society, we'd like to welcome you and to express our sincere appreciation and gratitude for your presence and your support. Alberta Champions Society, as Darryl said, was formed to recognize and honor those Calgarians that have made a substantial contribution to our community. 6 statues comprise a Field of Fame, and each statue is dedicated to honoring an individual that has left a special mark on our community. We know that our city is made up of many people who have contributed to its character, its culture, its charm, and its spirit. And it has been said that without heroes and champions, we are all plain people and don't know how far we might go. The organization is made of several committees, and one of them is the Nominations Committee. It makes recommendations to the board as to which individuals might be nominated as heroes or champions, and the board then makes that final decision. We hope and believe that the statues and Fields of Fame shall have a positive impact and influence and shall be inspirational for students, youth, the passers-by, and the general citizenry. The more things change, the more they stay the same, and the farther back that you are able to look, the farther forward that you are likely able to see. And as former President Harry S. Truman stated, the only thing that already hasn't happened is the history that you haven't read about. As Darrell also said, there are 7 fields of fame in our city. The first is at Jameson Place, downtown Calgary. The second is at Harley Hotchkiss Park, city center. The third is Centrium Place in the core of the city. The fourth at McDougall Place, home of the Provincial Legislature in Calgary. The fifth at Heritage Park, and the sixth at Spruce Meadows. And here we are at field number 7 at Fish Creek. Please watch for the unveiling of field number 8, soon to transpire at Wynn Sport. All of the heroes and champions deserve to be remembered and honored for what they have done for our city, our province, and our country. And in addition, they have inspired all of us, and particular the youth. And in that vein, Alberta Champions Society sponsors on a yearly basis a multimedia contest involving students grades 4 to 7, 7 to 9 throughout all Calgary schools, outlying areas, and First Nations schools. Each student is requested to select an individual who has made certain contributions, achievements, and various accomplishments, and that individual wishes to emulate what they have done. Therefore, they continue on and they laud the champion and the hero, and they outline all of the accomplishments they have done, and they wish to admire them, and they wish to ensure that they admire not only them, but they hold them instead as being a model for their life work. And so these essays and videos and anything else similar to that are attended to by the students, and the essays are then presented to judges, and the adjudication continues and transpires, and the winners receive various prizes, gift certificates, and monetary awards. The work and the essays done by the students are of an amazing and remarkable caliber, and so much so that the teachers say that they don't have to teach history because the students in their essays do a much better job of doing that. And if you wish, you might Google Alberta Champions webpage, and you might see some of these remarkable essays, and they're truly remarkable. And so Alberta Champions Society is proud of what they are doing with our students and our children, and it seems very clear that some of these students, if not many of them, will be our future leaders. And we believe that this is one of the best and truest legacies of Alberta Champions Society. We would like to thank the City of Calgary for its support, and we would also, of course, like to thank the Province of Alberta for its financial and related support. And we would also like to thank former Premier Kenney, Minister Lowen, Premier Smith, and also former MLA Richard Gottfried. It was always Richard's wish, and Richard is here today, that Alberta Champions would locate a field of fame at Fish Creek, and here we are. In addition, there are certain other people that I would like to thank, and if you'll allow me to, you'll grant me that indulgence, I would like to thank my wife Eva and our children JJ and Katie and Michael and Tiffany for their love, encouragement, and support. And we would like to thank Gibbs Gage Architects and its managing partner Cheetah Pabuston, and everyone's architectural mentor Marty Kohas for their architectural skill, ingenuity, and excellent efforts. Also, thanks to Exhibit Studio and Logan Franz for his excellent work with the fabrication, the statues, and related matters. And I'd like to also thank our board of members, and Darrell has named them, but I'll just run through them quickly for you. Brian Evans, Dr. Bill Blair, and Dr. Rick Buckley, Ian Bettis, Lachlan Curry, Aleem Danani, Fuad El-Kardi, Ron Gitter, Megan Lundgren, Gordon Olson, Cheeto Pabuston, Ruth Ramsden Wood, Dr. Norm Shacker, Rani Wong, and those of blessed memory, Arthur Smith, Harold Milofsky, Tommy Walsh, and John Curry. We miss them. And thanks also to our executive administrator, Pat Christie, for all she does on behalf of the organization. She's an integral part of everything we do, and we're very appreciative of everything that Pat does, and thank you so much. And thanks also to our finance chair, Ian Bettis, for his excellent fundraising efforts, to Mike Schachter, our casino chairman, and also to Fuad El-Kardi, who is our construction chairperson. And whatever you see happening today is by and large due to Fuad's efforts. I don't know where we would be today without what he has accomplished. And when you look at the statues in the Fields of Fame, you'll know that the final touch is most certainly attributable to him. And thank you so much, Fuad, for that. And we would like to thank, of course, the province of Alberta for allowing us to locate our statues and Fields of Fame in their magnificent park. Over 2 million people visit this park yearly. And thanks, of course, to our donors, and thanks to Nick Blanchette, Friends of Fish Creek, Larry Wesselo, Bow Valley Holdings, our partners at Fish Creek, for their support throughout these proceedings, which have been lengthy. And thank you so much to Daryl Jans, the world's famous MC. Daryl, thank you. It's nice to see you. And hopefully we'll be at the next unveiling, God willing. And I think I've thanked pretty well everyone. In any event, most importantly, thanks to the heroes and the champions and their family, because without them, of course, we wouldn't be here. We're all standing on their shoulders. And so thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Gord. I would like at this time to introduce Shane Schreiber, who is the Deputy Minister of Forestry and Parks, to say a few words. So thank you, or please, Mr. Schreiber. Thank you.
You're probably just trying to spare everybody from my very boring speech. Good afternoon, everyone. Oki. I'm here today to offer greetings on behalf of the Alberta government and Minister Lowen, Minister of Forestry and Parks, who really wanted to be here today, but he told me that he had to stay up in Edmonton to keep cutting red tape. So, right, congratulations to the Alberta champions on the successful achievement of their 7th Field of Fame. Well done. And I know there was probably times when you didn't think it was going to happen, but you got her done. I would like to begin by acknowledging the distinguished guest presence, Lieutenant Governor Mitchell, MLAs past and present, especially Richard. I know you're out there. Maybe put your hand up. Instrumental in making this day happen. Of course, the Alberta Champions Board of Directors, friends and family of the honorees. And I would also like to respectfully acknowledge that Fish Creek Provincial Park, where we are today, is located in Treaty 7 territory. The Alberta Champions Society was created to commemorate, recognize, and honor deserving Albertans who have made significant lifetime contributions to the city of Calgary and surrounding areas. And I think it especially fitting that we are gathered here in Fish Creek today to honor those heroes. The Fish Creek Valley is where generations of First Nations communities grew and thrived for thousands of years. And Fish Creek Provincial Park was established in 1975 when one of today's honorees was a City of Calgary councillor. Over the years, Fish Creek has grown with the city and, as you've heard, is now one of the province's most popular provincial parks with over 2 million visitors a year. Provincial parks like this one offer unique opportunities for Albertans and visitors to connect with nature, enjoy the outdoors, and appreciate our province's heritage. I'm going to skip a bunch of this stuff because I'll bore you. Parks are responsible for helping to bring people together, making a positive impact, and I can confidently say that those attributes are something that we have in common with the 7 honorees that are being recognized today. One of the honorees, Gus Yaki, was a longtime birder and volunteer with Friends of Fish Creek Provincial Park Society, which is a wonderful partner group that we work with, Alberta Parks works with on a daily basis to help engage visitors and really share this fabulous park with all Albertans. It is fitting to have such a diverse and impactful group of Albertans recognized here in Fish Creek Provincial Park. And I would like to take a moment just to recognize the family members and friends of the Field of Fame 7 who are present here today. So, on behalf of the Government of Alberta, thank you. In closing, I almost had you. In closing, the new Field of Fame is a welcome addition to Fish Creek Provincial Park. And we're hoping that it will inspire all our visitors to learn about the incredible contributions of these Calgarians. Today is a true milestone. Congratulations to the Alberta Champion Society and to all of the honorees. Carol, do you need this?
I was so spellbound I forgot to look at whether he was handing me the mic. Thank you so much. And now we are going to recognize the students who do these essays that Gordon talked about. Alberta Champion Society believes it is vital for our young people to appreciate the accomplishments of Albertans so that our next generation will be ready to make their own contributions to an outstanding community. To this end, they hold an annual essay and multimedia contest for students grade 4 to 9. We're going to invite Bernadette Montero, second place winner of Alberta Champions Contest 2023 from grade 9, to read her essay about Gus Yaki, who is one of the individuals we're honoring today. Her enthusiastic teacher from Calgary Catholic School Division who engaged her in this project is Ms. Maureen McSween, who's unable to be with us today. So Bernadette, please come and inspire us with your poem.
Imagine you could stop pollution and save the animals suffering from the harassment by the misuse of nature. How would that affect your daily life? You'd be able to hear the birds sing in the morning and look into the sky without a cloud of smoke blocking your view. This is what Gus Yaki's passion for nature drove so many Albertans to think about. Yaki's life and contributions were an example of how we could maintain a healthy and thriving environment. At an early age, Yaki started to take an interest in nature. When Yaki was 5, birds would meet him along the path he took from school from his family's farm in northern Saskatchewan. He closely observed the birds to discover the name of the species at school. Yaki's enthusiasm for birds grew with his age. However, his passion for nature didn't end with birds. His interest spread through other aspects of environmental studies, up to the point where Yaki was nicknamed the Dean of Nature. He undoubtedly lived up to his title as he established recreational activities for Canadians to educate themselves about their surroundings and the environment. In a world where technology has cultivated the interest of individuals of every age, it's difficult to turn off a screen and appreciate the world around us. According to Gus Yaki's son, David Yaki, if he saw something that he could make better, he tried to make it better. Yaki inspired Canadians to cherish animals and their habitats. In doing so, he became a member of the directors of the Federation of Ontario Naturalists. For 2 years, Yaki was the president of the local nature club in Lindsay, Ontario. During the years he spent in Ontario, Yaki has helped establish the Niagara Falls Nature Club, where he was the first president. Yaki was involved in the establishment of the Nature Conservancy of Canada and the Bruce Trail, the longest and oldest hiking trail in Canada. To further enlighten the knowledge of animals of Canadians, Yaki created his own nature tourism business called the Nature Service, where he guided all trips all around the world. During the 20 years that he ran his company, Yaki was able to travel around all the 7 continents. After years of operating his business, he sold Nature Travel Service and settled down in Calgary, where he became a longtime editor of Nature Calgary publication, PICA. Yaki helped Calgarians in finding their fascination with nature in their city. Do individuals living in urban areas take interest in the environment? In a big city with a population of approximately 1.4 million people, it's easy to predict that most don't take the time to acknowledge the presence of animals in their daily lives. Yaki organized field trips with Friends of Fish Creek in Calgary. He would personally tour Calgarians around the regions and give presentations to schools. I was able to reach out to a local birder, T. Timmons, who had the privilege of participating in these field trips with Yaki. He said that Yaki inspired him to lead nature walks for local birding groups, to join groups like Nature Conservancy of Canada, Bird Study Canada, participate in Christmas bird counts and May species counts. Yaki was very gregarious and always made his participants feel welcome. On Victoria Day in the year 2000, Yaki led a group of people in an attempt to find 100 species in 24 hours inside the city limits of Calgary. They were able to find 116 species in 10 hours. Yaki suggested holding competitions to see who could find the largest quantity of bird species in the city for a year. His suggestion created a lot of enthusiasm about nature in Calgary. Yaki received the Lauren Golden Award on April 14, 2012. Unfortunately, Yaki was diagnosed with pancreatic cancer and passed away on August 10, 2020, just before his 88th birthday. Throughout the time he was sick, he was optimistic and inspiring to Canadians. To educate the next generation about conserving nature, I volunteered at the Public Library for the Children. During these sessions, we would teach them about the importance of cleaning up, and we would always make sure to pick up our garbage within the building. Last school year, I was given the opportunity to take a course called Leadership. In this class, we would go to a room in the school and collect their recycling every once a week. Holy Cross created the Agape Market, where we would take donations from the school and sell them at discounted prices to the district. I volunteered to sort the donated items and assist the school in running the market. This event helped decrease the amount of wasted clothing and other plastic materials that pollute the environment. In the future, I plan to be more involved in nature activities. During the summertime, I've decided to try to visit provincial and national parks to further appreciate the environment. In my painting, the birds are trapped in a cage surrounded by garbage. The garbage depicts the pollution that harms the environment. Animals often find themselves in contact with wasted human products that have been dumped into their habitat. These products may contain chemicals that put these animals in harm. We can help these animals by educating ourselves about their habitats and how they live. If we put our garbage and recycling in the right places, we can help decrease the amount of pollution in the environment. Our daily habits affect the world. How much water we use, how we dispose of the garbage, and whether we walk or drive to school are all factors that could contribute to pollution. We can use Gus Yaki's life as an example of how we could help save the birds and the plants. Gus Yaki was a beloved birder who spent his time and life trying his best to make the world better. His aspirations taught Albertans that it is up to humans to protect animals and the environment. The state of the world is determined by our actions, and if we have what it takes to save it.
Thank you, Bernadette. Thank you so much, Pat, for getting me back on track, because I wouldn't have wanted to miss that or Shane Schreiber's message. So, obviously, you learned a lot in entering that contest, and it's just one way that young people are being engaged by Alberta Champions, and obviously our future is in good hands. And now I can catch up to myself and go on where I was. And we are honoring Vernetta Anderson, who, as I said, lived 1920 to 2006. She was a volunteer, a leader, a community contributor. She was born in the U.S. She and her family made Calgary their home in the early 50s. Vernetta thrived in Calgary and developed a lifelong reputation, not just as a person of color, but as a person of action, known for her vibrant personality, integrity, and leadership. She brought a commitment to getting the right things done and getting them done right to everything that she touched. Anderson was deeply involved in church and community service in Calgary, serving in many roles within the United Church of Canada, as a member of the Mount Royal College Ladies Auxiliary, president of Meals on Wheels, board member for several organizations, including the United Way, Calgary Tourist and Convention Association, and the Calgary Center for the Performing Arts. Some notable accomplishments: she was elected as the first Black member of the Calgary City Council in 1974, which was an amazing accomplishment, not only that she was Black, but she was a woman elected to council in those days. She was named a Paul Harris Fellow by Calgary Rotary Club in 1988. She was nominated for the YWCA Women of Distinction Lifetime Achievement Award and received the Canada 125 Commemorative Medal in 1992. She was honored by the YWCA in 2017 as part of She Who Dares, 150 women who impacted Calgary over 150 years. Vernetta was formerly married to Calgary football great Ezrat Sugarfoot Anderson, and those of us of a certain age would certainly remember what a great footballer he was. And so her legacy lives on. Next, Narcissus Blood, who lived 1954 to 2015. Narcissus Blood was a Blackfoot traditional spiritual elder who was passionate about preserving and sharing traditional Blackfoot spiritual ways and cultural heritage. Narcissus attended St. Mary's Residential School from age 6 to 17. In 1973, he won the prestigious Tom Longboat Award for Young Alberta Athletes. Narcissus worked with the National Assembly of First Nations, the World Council of Indigenous People, and the Indian Association of Alberta, as well as serving as chief and counselor for the Blood Tribe. He was an eminent scholar at Red Crow Community College. Narcissus had a big influence on the development of the Repatriation Act in Alberta. From 1990 to 2014, he played a strong role in repatriation of many of the Blood Tribe's ceremonial artifacts from museums in Canada, the US, and the UK. And as a result, he was awarded the prestigious Governor General's Meritorious Award posthumously in 2018. And so we are delighted to honor Narcissus today. Oh, there's a little more information on him. In 2014, he and Michael Green, whose native name, traditional name was Elk Shadow, they brought First Nations and non-First Nations together to create the theatrical project Making Treaty 7, which fostered reconciliation and promoted healing culture through the arts. Narcissus played a critical role as the cultural and spiritual advisor. Narcissus was a Blackfoot scholar, philosopher, teacher, activist, ceremonialist, and family man and friend. Next, Michael Green, who lived 1957 to 2015. Michael Green was co-artistic director and founding member of One Yellow Rabbit Performance Theater. He was the creator and curator of the High Performance Rodeo, as well as an actor, a writer, a director, a producer, and mentor. He was recipient of the Queen Elizabeth Diamond Jubilee Medal, Lieutenant Governor of Alberta Art Award. He was named the curator and creative producer for Calgary's 2012 cultural project, Cultural Capital of Canada celebrations, and creator of its Legacy project. He was instrumental in the establishment of the Making Treaty 7 Cultural Society and its executive producer and creator, bringing together elders from all Treaty 7 nations. They invited all Calgarians to imagine our shared future through the frame of a theatrical reenactment of the founding event of Southern Alberta, the signing of Treaty 7 at Blackfoot Crossing in 1877. It featured Indigenous and non-Indigenous performance, combining traditional Indigenous storytelling with a theatrical presentation and reinterpreting the events of the signing of Treaty 7. Audiences were invited to consider the inequity of the agreement and how to work together to forge new integrity to its meaning. Narcissus Blood and Michael Green died together while on a humanitarian mission of cultural healing in February 2015, traveling to the Treaty 4 Piapot First Nation, hoping to share the successful process of making Treaty 7 to eventually make positive change across our nation. We are treaty people. Next, Roderick Ma, lived 1929 to 2007. Roderick Ma, born in Calgary's Chinatown in 1929 to Chinese immigrants, led a remarkable life shaped by his cultural roots, resilience, and dedication to community. In 1960, Roderick and his wife Lillian Lee Wong, her parents and brother James Wong, established the renowned Jade Palace restaurant, operating it for 25 years. Concurrently, Roderick also operated Thunderbird Travel Agency for 3 decades. Deeply committed to his community, he helped form the Senlok Society in Calgary in 1968, playing a vital role in preserving Chinatown and raising its profile. He tirelessly fundraised for the Calgary Chinatown Seniors Center and supported numerous charities and associations. A visionary and pioneer in Canada-China business relations, Roderick fostered trade missions to Asia, promoting economic growth and cultural exchange. Proudly a charter member of the Calgary Economic Development Authority, the Rotary Club, and SCAL International. A recipient of Mount Royal University's Distinguished Alumni Award in 1995. He was a dedicated member of the MRU Foundation Board of Directors. In 2008, the Learning Conference Center on campus was renamed the Roderick Ma Center for Continuous Learning in his honor. Roderick, or Roddy as he was affectionately called, he was the unofficial mayor of Chinatown, and Little Buddha, he was often called. And he leaves a legacy of entrepreneurial spirit, genuine humility, and commitment to heritage and community. Next, Chuck Maher, who lived from 1917 to 2006. Chuck was born in 1917, as I mentioned, and grew up with his 3 siblings in Calgary. He started his business career as a chartered accountant before joining the Naval Reserve. At the onset of World War II, he was posted to the HMCS Haida as Chief Gunnery Officer. Haida patrolled the Murmansk route in Russia, protected the English Channel, and escorted troop convoys to France on D-Day in 1944. Chuck's bravery at sea resulted in a mention in dispatches and the Distinguished Service Cross. Commander Maher retired from the Navy in 1945 as the most decorated naval hero from Alberta. Recommending his business career, or recommencing rather, he became Alberta Director for McLeod Young Weir. At 57, Chuck launched Maher Investment Management, an international investment company with $86 billion in assets by 2023. Chuck's belief was to do the right thing in all aspects of his business and his personal life. Retiring at 78, he raised funds for the Alberta Naval Museum. In 2019, Valor Canada awarded Chuck the General Sir Arthur Currie Award in recognition of his contributions to the Canadian Navy. A respected leader with unrivaled integrity, accomplished officer, a true gentleman, and dedicated family man, he inspired respect and loyalty from all who knew him. Peter Prince, 1836 to 1935. Peter Prince arrived in Calgary in 1886. Peter Anthony Prince from Eau Claire, Wisconsin. The Eau Claire and Bow River Lumber Company, EC and BRL, the mill was built and Peter's Island was created by channeling out land at a bend in the Bow River. How many times have you heard that place called Princess Island? It ain't no Princess Island. It has nothing to do with British royalty. It has everything to do with an American businessman whose name was Prince. And so we did a few stories on that in my years at CTV to get people straightened out on that. Now, the lumber mill became the largest mill in Canada. The highly successful Calgary Water Power Company later became Calgary Power. Calgary Power Stephen Avenue was called the Great White Way because of Prince's illumination. The seal of Alberta, the faultless flower, was produced in Prince's Calgary Milling Company, which supplied flour to most of Alberta and the Vancouver branch. Prince was majority owner in Calgary Iron Works, the Calgary Tribune newspaper, 2 grocery store chains. He owned a ranch and many other interests, and not one of his businesses ever failed. Oh, I got so enthused. Oh, there it is. All flourished under his genius leadership. Prince supported family, church, and community, with many citizens and charities receiving his philanthropic generosity. His legacy includes Prince's Island Park, 1886 Cafe, the Eau Claire community, his home, now a historic museum, and others. In 1975, Prince was named one of the top 40 pioneer entrepreneurs in Calgary. Peter Anthony Prince died in 1925 and is interred at St. Mary's Pioneer Cemetery. And a man who has already been mentioned a couple of times. In fact, that's what Bernadette's poem was about, or whom it was about, Gus Yaki. And I had the privilege very late in his life to feature Gus Yaki on my Inspired Albertan series, and I had trouble keeping up to him because he had a few years on me, I think. Anyway, we went birding with a crowd of people. Man, did this guy know his birds. Anyway, Gus became interested in birds as a child, walking back and forth from the family farm to school in rural Saskatchewan. I didn't get interested in birds, I got interested in gophers. Anyway, as a young man, he moved to Ontario, where he was an avid birder and serious student of the great outdoors. Gus eventually made a living as a nature tour operator. After retiring, he moved to Calgary in 1993, where he and his wife, Eileen Pelser, were active local naturalists. In 2005, he started birding classes with the Friends of Fish Creek, which attracted hundreds of participants. In 2017, at the age of 84, yeah, he did have some years on me, he organized and led a hike across southern Alberta to celebrate Canada 150 in support of bird study and habitat conservation. In 2019, he was awarded the Sovereign's Medal for Volunteers by the Governor-General of Canada and was recognized as one of Calgary's top 7 over 70. Gus believed in doing what he could to make the world a better place. He recycled, reused, drove a hybrid car, picked up litter, and by example, led others to do the same. He changed the lives of thousands of people, inspiring them a love of nature and the desire to see our natural areas protected. And those, ladies and gentlemen, are our 7 newest Alberta champions. How about a hand? Now, on behalf of Alberta Champions Society, I wish to acknowledge some significant supporters and contributors to this field of fame. They are the group of Eva and Gordy Hoffman, Michael and Stephanie Dorchik, and Hoffman Dorchik. The group of Caitlin, JJ, Leafy, Layla, and Kai Hoffman. Dr. Tiffany Hoffman, Michael Goldrosen and Caleb Goldrosen, Lonnie Dorchik, Ariel, Shane, Ryan, and Colby Sedinsky, Mauer Investment Management Limited, and the Mauer family and friends. How about a hand for our sponsors? Now, please refer to the adjacent signs and your program for a list of the many other generous groups and individuals who support this project. Alberta Champions wishes to express their sincere appreciation of this support. Alberta Champions Society would like to express sincere gratitude to the Calgary Chinatown Development Foundation, Beauside Manor, and the Wu Yi Association of Calgary for their generous support. They inadvertently got missed on the list of supporters in the materials that you have at the historian level at this event, but they are definitely featured on the donor monument outdoors, which will honor their support well into the future. And so as we move forward, we invite you to get involved with Alberta Champions Society. Financial contributions are welcomed as we prepare to recognize our next champions at our 8th Field of Fame, which Gordy and I fully intend to be at. And I'll try and keep straight my script next time. Our next guest has spent 40 years in the entertainment industry before retiring recently. Although he can't join us in person today, we are pleased to share this presentation by the great entertainer Stan Foster, singing his composition, The Heroes of the Game.
These are the heroes we cry out for. It's the soul that struggles in search for more, and one who lives in risk because destiny would have no other way, it seems. These are the heroes. One glory's hand is raised, the common man who goes without, so praise can fall on one whose shoulders will carry fame. These are the heroes of the game. In search for answers to questions of why, oh, these heroes' hearts will never die. So with tendon pull, their heads point to the sky. The pain they feel is all inside. These are the heroes. When glory's hand is raised, the common carry fame. These are the heroes of the game. These are the heroes. One glory's hand is raised. The common man who goes without, so praise can fall on one whose shoulders will carry fame. These are the heroes of the game.
Our thanks to Stan, and so sorry he couldn't be with us today. What an entertainer, what a performer for 4 decades here in Calgary. And now, please welcome the Executive Administrator of Alberta Champions Society, Pat Christie, who keeps me on my toes, to say a few words.
Thank you, Daryl. It's my pleasure to be here this afternoon and to see so many of you whom I've met via telephone and Zoom, and wonderful to meet so many of you in person today. What a wonderful bunch of people we are recognizing, and what a wonderful bunch of families that are related to them. So it is my pleasure to be here today. Just a tiny bit more background to Alberta Champions. In 2003, Gordon Hoffman was concerned that we weren't recognizing the tremendous lifetime contributions of individuals in our community. And being Gordon Hoffman, if he saw something in the community that wasn't being done, he decided to do it. So he launched this organization. So that's how this started out in 2003 and put everything together. And in 2010, we actually launched our first Field of Fame at Jameson Place. It's been my pleasure to be involved since 2007 with the organization. I wouldn't be involved if it weren't for Gordy, because he's so easy to work with. When I want to do something, he says, yeah, go do it. In fact, even if I don't want to do it, he says, yeah, go do it. I have some thank yous as well, but a lot of them have been covered, so I will just try to go through. As they say, it takes a village to raise a child. Well, it certainly takes a village to raise a Field of Fame. First, I would like to once again thank the Honourable Todd Lowen, Ministry of Forestry and Parks, who decided to welcome us here and get us in this park. So thank you to him. I'd like to thank all of the park staff at Fish Creek Park, and a special thanks to Richard Godfried, who also was determined that this was going to happen, and he worked hard on it with us. Thank you, Richard. Thanks again to all of the families who worked closely with us. Excuse me. As Gordy's, sorry about that. As Gordy met, I'm going to take some germs off here. As Gordy mentioned, Cheeto Pabustin from our board, who helped with the layout and working with us to get this field launched. And Logan from Exhibit Studio, who's been working and building our monuments in the last Fields of Fame, and has done a wonderful job on that. And it's good that Logan works under pressure, because he was putting monuments in like 2 days ago. So thank you, Logan. Wonderful. A big thanks to Fouad Al-Kardi. Oh my goodness. Fouad is amazing. He's on our board of directors. When things got behind on this Field of Fame, Fouad decided, we will make this happen, and we're going to have it in there by September 28th. So he deserves, let's give him a big round of applause. Without Fouad, we'd be looking at a little pile of rocks out there. So thank you so much, and it's that we're here to be able to do it. I'd also really like to thank Mike Schachter, who has worked very hard on so many things with helping to put this together. And I can't say enough about Mark Ruthenberg, who's in the back there. He's running the PowerPoint. He created the PowerPoint. He's working on the audiovisuals. Thank you so much, Mark. Without his support, I wouldn't be here either. Like when I thought I couldn't I couldn't do another detail for the event. Mark phoned and said, I've covered that detail for you. It's okay. We'll be all right. It's been challenging to put together an event, but it's so wonderful to have it come together today. Thank you to our volunteers and all of the people that have helped today to make this happen, like the photographer, the videographer, our soloists, the students, all of the people from the families. It's so wonderful to have everyone involved, and we very much appreciate your support for this day and for Alberta Champions. Okay, so now enough of our talking. It's time for us to go out and see the monuments. Daryl, tell us what to do next.
No, you tell me what to do next. Oh, you just did. Thank you, Pat. It's so much fun working with you and with this whole group. That concludes this part of today's ceremony. You can watch and share the video stream of all of our program here today with friends and family by going online to Alberta Champions Facebook page or website, either one. I've got to throw this in. Facebook has never been known to make the lame walk, but it sure has made the dumb to speak. Sorry, I read that somewhere. Probably on Facebook, I don't know. No, I doubt it would have got past Mark Zuckerberg. In a minute, join me in walking over a short distance to the newest Field of Fame, and please watch your step. I say that to those of us over a certain age. At the Field of Fame, Alberta Champions Director Fuad El-Kardi and Dr. Rick Buckley, Vice Chairman, along with family members, will unveil the new monuments that feature well-deserved recognition of 7 individuals. And we will ask you to stand back from the monuments a bit until they are unveiled, after which I hope you will go up close and take a look at the monuments and read the plaques on them. And join us back here then for a reception and a chance to chat with the families and the board of directors and advisory board of Alberta Champions. So let's make our way over to the Field of Fame. Well, now, ladies and gentlemen, the special moment we are here for. That is the unveiling of the monuments. Please welcome Dr. Rick Buckley and Fuad El-Kardi to do the honors along with family members. Please welcome them. Anyway, they're going to be unveiling the monuments to the 7 champions, as well as the recognition monument that provides background to Alberta Champions and thanks the supporters. So I will call each family to step forward, and Dr. Buckley will say a few words, and then Fuad El-Kardi will unveil the monuments with the families, and we'll take a few photos. After all of the monuments are unveiled, there'll be more photo time and time for you to mingle and come up close after we unveil them and have a good look. So right now, the first monument is Vernetta Anderson I'll ask her family to come forward, and Rick will say a few words.
Please, if the family can come forward, please. So Vernetta Anderson was a woman of action, known for committing time and providing leadership to get things done. Among her many other accomplishments, she was the first black member of City Council, and her legacy lives on. Fuad? No, you're actually up next. With this little bit on green here. Next up, very special unveiling.
Okay.
Do you have that?
Yeah. So you're doing Narcissus Blood next?
Yeah, well, I can say it too.
Yeah, sure.
Next up, we have a very special unveiling. Narcissus Blood and Michael Green, if we could ask the families to come up, please. This monument is very much recognized as a symbol of reconciliation. Narcissus Blood was a Blackfoot traditional spiritual elder who was passionate about preserving and sharing traditional Blackfoot ways and cultural heritage. Narcissus was a Blackfoot scholar, philosopher, teacher, activist, ceremonialist, family man, and friend. Michael Green was co-artistic director and founding member of One Yellow Rabbit Performance Theater. He was the creator and curator of the High Performance Rodeo, and an actor, writer, director, producer, and mentor. Narcissus Blood and Michael Green died together while on a humanitarian mission of cultural healing in February 2015 while traveling to the Treaty 4 Piapot First Nation, hoping to share the successful process of their making Treaty 7 production to eventually make positive change across our nation. We are all treaty people. Next, we have the Roddy Ma family, please, up to their monument. Roderick Ma, born in Calgary's Chinatown in 1929 to Chinese immigrants, led a remarkable life shaped by his cultural roots, resilience, and dedication to community. Roderick, or Roddy, affectionately called the unofficial mayor of Chinatown and Little Buddha, leaves a legacy of entrepreneurial spirit, genuine humility, and commitment to heritage community. Fuad? Thank you. Next, we have the Chuck Maurer family, please, up here. Chuck Maurer launched Maurer Investment Management, an international investment company which grew over the years to have $86 billion in assets by 2023. Chuck was a respected leader with unrivaled integrity, an accomplished naval officer, a true gentleman and dedicated family man who inspired respect and loyalty from all who knew him. Thank you. Okay, next we have the Peter Prince family, please. Over 100 years ago, Peter Prince built the Eau Claire and Bow River lumber mill and created Prince's Island, not Princess, on the Bow River. He also launched numerous other successful businesses in early Calgary, and Prince supported family, church, and community, with many citizens and charities receiving his philanthropic generosity. Fouad? And last but not least, the Yaki family, please. I think that fellow looks like Gus Yaki. He's got the same face. Gus Yaki is particularly remembered in this park for the birding classes he created with the Friends of Fish Creek, which attracted hundreds of participants. Gus believed in doing what he could to make the world better. He recycled, reused, drove a hybrid car, picked up litter, and by example led others to do the same. He changed the lives of thousands of people, inspiring in them a love of nature and the desire to see our natural areas protected. Fouad? And I think that's yours.
You're done?
I think so.
Okay. Yeah, thanks. Well, ladies and gentlemen, those are our newest Alberta champions, and before you surge forward to get a closer look, Rick Buckley and Fouad Al-Kardi will unveil the donor monument. Alberta champions would like to once again thank all of their supporters who have made this number 7 Field of Fame possible. So, gentlemen, if you will unveil that. That's an unveiling. Thank you, gentlemen. And thank you all for coming out here. And, you know, if you had listened to AccuWeather or Weather Network or even Environment Canada, you'd have brought your umbrella and thought we were going to be here in the rain. But thank goodness the rain has stayed away. It will come later today, but we've had just a beautiful afternoon. The wind even died down, so that is such a blessing. And now you're invited to come forward and take a closer look and then come back to the tent to enjoy refreshments, a light lunch, and chat with the families of our champions. So thank you again for your tremendous support of this project.
Yeah, and thank you to Daryl.
It's a pleasure.
So I don't think I thanked you up there at the front. Thank you very much.
Oh, no problem. No problem.
Thank you, Mr.
Hey.
Stan. Barry Anderson,
Nice
Anderson's
to meet
son.
you. Oh,
Yeah,
yes.
yeah.
Yeah, I got to know your mom.
Yeah, I know. She's
And the fire.